there are many ayat in the Quran which clearly combine spending the charitable activity, spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, giving out your wealth is compared to giving up your life. In many ayat of the Quran, we see جاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم يجاهدون بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله. Normally, we know from jihad is to attend the war with the enemy, with those who attack you, with those who attack your dignity and your faith. But we see, according to the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that to give away your wealth, to share the need of others and try to have a share in removing that need is very, very important, and it is equivalent to jihad. So when you come here after having dinner, and we hope that you enjoyed that, thanking all the organizers and the volunteers for the work, for the preparation, for everything to make this event so successful, alhamdulillah, tabarak wa ta'ala, we have to remember one thing, that there are people in every corner of the world who do not have proper food, do not have proper clothing. There are orphans, especially in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Palestine, in Lebanon, everywhere. There are orphans who need care. And believe me, when you contribute to the need of the orphans, you are attaining the highest level one can achieve. And that is what? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَنَا وَكَافِلُ الْيَتِيمِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ كَهَاتَيْنِ. If you try to pull your fingers, you can't separate them more than 5 to 8 centimeters only. So those who care for an orphan, they secure their position with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as he truly said, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. And what greater than to be in the same position of the Prophet of Islam? What greater than to be admired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to consider you in the same position of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we gather tonight after having proper iftar, waiting for the dessert to come and to enjoy your whole night. But we are gathering for one particular purpose, and that particular purpose is what? To think of others. To learn from Imam Ali and Fatima al-Zahra and Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about them in Surah Al-Ata, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. So let's follow the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam in giving even they needed most. And this is one of the greatest values of Islamic personality, and that is Ithar. Ithar means to put the needs of others prior to your own need. In this way, some people think that if they give their leftover of their food or the clothes which are so dirty or ruined and don't worth anything, they send it to Iraq for the needy. It is not infaq. It is not charitable act. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. If you spend and give away the crème de la crème of your food, the best of your clothes, then only then you are doing infaq and charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the wedding night of Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha, a lady came asking for a cloth, and Lady Fatima salamullah alayha did not give her the used cloth. She gave away that particular night the dressing which was made only for the wedding. And when Imam Ali alayhi salam went with his servant Ambar to buy 2 dresses, one was 3 dirhams, the other one was 2 dirhams. He gave the 3 dirham value to his servant Ambar and kept the one who was less expensive or cheaper to himself. When Ambar said to him, "Oh, Commander of Faithful, you are the head of state. You are the Commander of Faithful. The one which is nicer and more expensive is more fitting and suitable for you." He said, "No, you are young and you are after something new. I can manage myself and control my desires." So tonight, what we expect you all to donate generously, to think of others, to think of the orphans, to show how really the teachings of Islam in understanding the Iftar is still living within you. In other words, we need to translate all these teachings of Quran for giving, for generosity, for infaq, for caring for others in our actions and not in our words. There are many people who say many things about infaq, good things, good deeds, but when it comes to practice, they fail. We want today and tonight and this event to join hand to hand, effort to effort, and all make the maximum sacrifice, the maximum jihad. And that jihad is the jihad, financial jihad, not the jihad as going for the war. In this way, I tell you one thing, and I'm sure about it, that the angels in the celestial sphere think of you here, that you have gathered for good cause, for good cause, for thinking of the orphans and needy in Iraq, in Afghanistan and elsewhere, but because the main point for us here in a Noor orphan organization is to think of the orphans of Iraq. There are hundreds, thousands, if not millions of orphans, widows and needy people in Iraq who need your assistance, your contribution, and I'm sure that this call will not be forgotten, and we all gather to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this call. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.